You've wised up for fuck's sake.
No, I've always
Um,
known that.
is it
Come
wrong
on.
that I'm just pining for December so I can get laid off from my job?
Why do you? Oh, is that when the season shuts down?
Yeah, the season's a little slower. So, and they don't announce the new season, I think, until the new part of the year. And look, very grateful, very happy that I have money. I really am. I really am all those things that you're supposed to be. Um, just hate going to work. You know what I mean? Going to work is for the poor. And that is not a slight to the poor. Like, look, I get it. You need it, you know. I'm also a poor. I get it. I'm just more delulu than most of the poors
Mhm.
because I've successfully made it this far, 44 years of life being poor. And not really caring that much about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like out of all the people in my life who complain about money, I'm not at the top of the list always being like, woe is me, I'm broke.
No,
However,
except when you're really broke.
but even when I'm really broke, like I'm not I've never been like, I'm about to get kicked out of my apartment. You know
No.
what I mean? I've never had anything shut off. Nothing. And that's like never
Yeah.
anything shut off. And that is what I constitute as poor. Like if your bills are being shut off, if your heads are falling off, then you know you're poor. Whatever. Anyway. Hi YouTube. Hi. What a way to start. It's the morning. I haven't said much yet. I haven't talked a
Yeah.
lot today.
And he's not poor, but he has told me several things of the negative about myself. So we are moving in the right direction. He something about
When today
since we first started.
we talked about your headphones and you started it. All right. If you want to already go into the fact that you are wearing headphones that look like you're from the movie Star Wars and you have buyer's remorse because you don't like the way they look or you think that they make your ears too sloppy wet, that's not me. That's a back and forth dialogue that you
First of all, they're
started.
German headphones. They're made for people who live in Germany, which is well known as a very cold place. Okay. So it's not my fault that I got some really nice headphones from a part of the world where it actually benefits to keep your head warm. But yeah, sure. I live in what used to be a desert and is now increasingly a humid swamp. And as a result of that, I do regret a little bit sometimes these really heavy headphones. That being said, mine are the Star Wars ones. You look like you're some sort of gamer freak from 1999 who just started the craze, which wouldn't be too off considering your age.
And hey, listen, don't rewrite history. We've always had a monsoonal season. All right. Don't act like it
Not for the
doesn't
10
get,
years we lived here.
don't act like it hasn't gotten humid for at least, well, even in the peak of the fucking drought, it would get at least a month worth of stickier weather. But this is not Chicago. This is not Chicago
No.
humidity. This is not Georgia humidity. This is
No.
not, I mean, is the East Coast humid?
Yes, very.
This isn't even the East Coast humidity. So you take off your panties and put on some briefs.
I would rather take off these headphones and put in some AirPods, but I can't
But
because
you
they
have
give me
tinnitus.
tinnitus. And then you made fun of me for the tinnitus, which is the only reason I made fun of you for your shoulder.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We did talk about your tinnitus disorder, whatever that is. Listen, if that's like food allergies and whatnot
It's
and
not a
food
food
poisoning,
allergy.
it's a white person thing. All right.
Not a white
like,
person thing.
like until like once Casey, as soon as Casey, something's wrong with Casey, as soon as Casey's like, something's wrong with me, I'm like, it's a white person thing until a person of color tells me otherwise. So, people of color, do you have tinnitus?
Yes, they
Shout out in the
absolutely
chat.
do. And I want to hear from all the people of color who agree with me that their ears
Yeah, go
ring,
ahead and email us at the
especially after listening
gaypowerhappyhour@gmail.com.
to this show, because there are parts of this show, certain parts of it, one part in particular,
Are you saying that I gave you tinnitus?
to tinnitus after
Are
prolonged
you-
listening.
Are you trying to say that I am a factor, not the reason, but a factor on your tinnitus, and not the fact that you just get wine drunk and fall asleep in front of a speaker at Akbar?
I've never fallen asleep in front of a speaker at Akbar. I have and will admit to getting wine drunk there. But I will say this, just because your picture is on the wall there doesn't make you better. It just means that you wear a dress
Yeah,
for
no,
money.
that's literally it. No, you could period
For
that.
money.
That's literally it.
Okay. Not
Easy,
because of
very
some
good.
sort of trans identity that we're here to celebrate. No, you do it for money. Okay.
How do you know? First of all, this conversation got
I
really weird
know.
because suddenly I can
I
just come out as
know. Are you
trans.
going to tell me trans? You're trans now? Well, I would say, Tony, congratulations.
I'm about to do it.
Nothing weird about
I'm
that.
about
Nothing
to
weird.
do
Nothing weird about that, Tony. To me, you know what? I've always had a bit of an inkling, so I'm happy for you, and I always have been.
Shut up. Are you ready to do a podcast?
Yes.
It's 8:30 in the morning. So just
So-
YouTube,
so-
so you know. So
oh,
you
YouTube.
you know YouTube because you're the ones
YouTube.
who hang out. We're gonna start trying again on Wednesdays around 8 or 9 in the morning whenever Casey logs on, because you know we're always waiting for Casey, even though we both wake up and start the podcast from our homes.
Yeah, I woke up at 6.
But she has tinnitus. Does that make you have vertigo or something? Is it just the fact that your ears are? You know who has tinnitus? Also a white person, though. My old business partner Joey. Yeah, he talked about having tinnitus, but he's also very white. I think he's Italian. Maybe
it's
a
an
white
Italian
thing.
Italianitis.
You have Italianitis.
Well, it's because we surround ourselves with people who talk really loudly. And we have a ne'er-do-well attitude when it comes to falling asleep in front of speakers. It's the AirPods. It's the AirPods, and this is why I have these big ass speakers on my head.
Are you ready?
Never quite as ready as you are. Let's go.
Okay, I'm gonna give you 3, 2.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Gay Power Half Hour, the only gay podcast on the internet with 2 gay hosts that are just like Robert F. Kennedy Jr., because we sure have had some weird encounters in parks with bears. With your best friends, Casey Lai, and a friend maybe less good because he's, not as emotionally open and he loves boundaries. Tony Soto!
Hello, everybody. That's right. I am the Tony Soto. So good to be here. That was a good opener because I have definitely, listen, as a park cruiser, mostly, in my youth, like, occasionally, a good park cruise is nice every once in a while. But what I'm saying is, you never really know who's going to be coming up to you in a park cruising situation. You know what I mean? And I've never given up vibes that the bear type is the type of homosexual that I want to pursue. Not because of them personally, but because I am blessed with baby soft skin that cannot be roughed up by your terrible 5 o'clock shadows and your rough, coarse hairs on your faces, on your shoulders, on your backs and chests. I can't do it. I walk around looking like I just had I used like a Brillo pad on my poor, sensitive, youthful body.
You tried to make it not about the other person's physical.
It's not about them. It's about their hair. It's about their hair. It's not them. It's not them as people. A full wax. I would. There are some bears that I would be on top of for 24 hours after a full wax. I mean, I wouldn't, because then it's prickly. But the thing is, I've warded off a lot of bears in the woods. That's what I'm saying during the cruising situation. So look, there have been bears that have come up to me in cruising situations and wanted to get romantic with me. And I'd have to be like, no.
I would imagine that when the goal of cruising in a park is to be discreet, having someone with Tony's decibel yelling "ow" every time was probably not the best way. So I would hope bears were avoiding you for the same reason.
Yeah, girl, I could market that as like literally a thing that wards bears off for your house. They just get a little alarm and speak like, "Get away, bear!"
That being said,
so RFK's a weirdo.
RFK Jr. is such a weirdo.
So there's a lot of things. Oh yeah, the junior
Drunk
one.
Weirdo.
The other one is dead. okay, this was a weird situation. A, I want to know what he was doing with Roseanne. B, I want to know when did Roseanne go blonde? Because truthfully, for a fierce, a fiercely crazy bitch, she looked kind of fierce with her blonde hair.
Well, everyone
Although,
knows Trump likes blondes.
oh,
That's why she went
interesting.
blonde. Yeah,
So
she's
they
trying
were
to be
doing
Secretary of State.
so.
She could get it,
She
guys.
listen
She could get it.
in this country, that could happen. So were they doing a show? Was it like a podcast or like? RFK Jr. was talking to Roseanne and brought up this crazy story where he found the body of a dead
Mhm.
cub bear and he wanted to skin it. And then
Yeah.
it became a burden, and so he decided to throw it in the Central Park of New York.
Well, he had to catch a flight,
That's
which is
right.
one reason. So he was on his way with his friends who were drunk, but he wasn't drunk. But he was on his way to catch a flight, and he thought it would be a great idea to take the dead bear home and put it in his and skin it and put the meat in his fridge. But he forgot that he was on his way to catch a flight. So he and his friends had to ditch the bear in Central Park, as you do. And look, I believe the story. Whenever a Kennedy tells a story about not killing someone with their car and not being drunk, I believe it. Okay, I believed it since his uncle's. You know, I don't believe his other drunk cousin killed that woman with a golf club. You know, the Kennedys, they're to be believed, especially when it comes to things that have died in a car or around a
And things that
car
aren't
with
drunk.
them, things that aren't drunk, and their beliefs on vaccines. Okay,
Because I
that's
mean,
what you believe a
truthfully,
Kennedy.
the thing is like that putting a dead bear baby a dead baby
A
bear
bear cub,
carcass,
a bear cub
a
carcass.
bear cub carcass. I mean,
Although
either
you
way,
would
it
have loved
turns
that
into.
bear being skinned alive, because then it wouldn't have Brillo patted your delicate skin to death.
So what? I press up against its fucking skin body. That's disgusting. What I'm
It's
saying is
organs.
freshly waxed. Freshly waxed.
Freshly waxed
It's
organs.
like here's the thing. A, if you have to say you weren't drunk, you were, and
Or
B,
drunk.
it's like that is a drunk person thing. You know what I mean? People. So
Or cocaine.
I have a very good friend who does not drink to the way that she used to back in the day,
Mhm.
but and she listens to this podcast, so she'll know who I'm talking. She'll know once I say.
Well, let's
But
hear.
like,
I'm
when
interested.
she gets very drunk back in the day, she would steal things
Love this for her.
and
And you.
not like not like cool things, like street signs, like potted plants, but not the pot, just uprooting the plant and taking it out. It's a drunk person mentality
Yeah.
to do stuff like that. And I love you, girl. And I'm glad you don't drink like that anymore. but to be in a group of people and not be the drunk one
Mhm.
and come up with that idea, dude, you just should tell people you were drunk.
Yeah, I think I don't understand. I don't understand what. I guess he was trying to get ahead of a story that was happening that the New Yorker was putting out or something like
Well,
that. And
this
they had a
story made
picture
news, national
10
news,
years ago.
like yeah, 10 years ago. I
Also,
remember the baby bear in Central Park. Robin Robinson was clutching her pearls. She's like, we don't even know. No one
we
knew.
don't even
No one knew.
know. There's a bear serial killer on the loose.
Did he think that this was
And
going to like boost his campaign? Was that kind of a thing?
no, he had to get ahead of the story because it was going to be another negative news story about how a crazy rich person who doesn't deal with consequences, did a crazy rich person thing and didn't have to deal with any of the consequences.
Well,
And that
allegedly,
caused
he
a
didn't do
national-
anything wrong. Allegedly,
didn't
that
do
was
anything-
nothing was illegal. Like he
I
didn't
think it's
murder the
illegal to dump a
bear.
bear carcass in a public park. I'm not
I
an
guess
expert on the
no.
law.
Because I guess not. Because like the thing is like I was what was I watching? It was the CNN. Believe it or not, it was the CNN, and they were like,
CNN.
no charges are going to be filed because no crimes were committed. I mean, I guess. Look, if dead bear carcasses start just showing up in Central Park again, But you're right.
With
That
the amount of
it's
women that the Kennedys have killed, it would be shocking if the first Kennedy to actually deal with the consequences was overkilling. Oh, but the female there, they usually get away with that.
but it's true. Like in the capacity of what you say, it's getting old seeing the kinds of crazy things that wealthy people can just get away with, and that could have been a fucking body. You know what I mean?
It's a Kennedy.
that
It could have been a body.
that could have been a sex worker moment where she was
And
dancing on
campaign
the
aid.
piano.
Yeah.
She's they made a movie about it for fuck's sake, and they were all privileged white people. What movie was that where the fucking sex worker was dancing at the party and she fell and broke her neck, and it's all a bunch of fucking white young kids being like, maybe it was an SVU. I don't know.
Feels a
But
bit
I'll
more
tell
like
you,
an SV. I mean, I don't know.
but I'll tell you, nary was there a person of color in that group of murderers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it was in New York and it was a bunch of rich people, and I want to say this too, I can take him at his word that he wasn't drinking, but he was probably doing drugs. Also, this was 10 years ago. And so we're supposed to have, and then he's like, yeah, it was a youthful thing. You're like
Hunter
70s,
Biden
you're
was at
like
his
71.
prime. Yeah, he's so
Bro.
old. Like, that's the thing. Like, I can give Hunter Biden a fucking pass because, he's not 70.
And I want to, and I'll give this crazy pass to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Not a pass, but I want to say this: similar to Hunter Biden, they both suffered severely traumatic events with their parents when they were younger, and that's going to fuck you up. And then you're thrust into the public eye, and that's going to fuck you up even more. And I will give and I give Hunter some credit because he's really laid it all bare, and to a certain extent, Robert F. Kennedy has as well. Except one of them is running to be the president of the United States and has an alarming amount of support. The other, I will say, tried to keep his decrepit daddy in the race so he wouldn't maybe have to go to jail. So they're both, I hope, on their way out. But it is annoying. And so I understand their issues, but it's annoying to me that we promote. No, like not saying
he's hanging out with people like Roseanne. Better. Like he's not. He's not a concern to anybody.
RFK Jr. is a concern.
I mean, Trump was
before Tim Walz and Kamala Harris.
Trump should be concerned about the fact that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is hanging out with the likes of fucking Roseanne, but that's obviously a target audience. Like that's not a majority by any means. That's a fringe, because Roseanne says some off the wall shit. However, yes, like it has been a whirlwind for Democrats since, God, how long has it been? It's been, how long was it that Biden
the debate or the dropping out?
Dropped out of the race.
It's been like two weeks,
right? Yeah. So 14 days have gone by, maybe 15, 16.
Maybe more. Yeah. Not much.
And Kamala came directly. She is the presumptive nominee. For all they think they're going to, at the convention.
She's the nominee
announcer.
Now. Yeah.
So she had, and the election's like in 90 days or something like that.
91 yesterday. Tim Walz had a good line about it.
Yeah. And so she had to pick a ticket or pick a VP, and it was between the astronaut, the governor of Pennsylvania, and the astronaut is the senator of
Arizona, Mark
Kelly. I almost called him Gene Kelly.
Kelly. He's dancing on the moon.
Shapiro and some unknown Tim Walz, which if you're Midwestern, Tim Walz isn't unknown. Like he's done really good politics. He was actually a conservative for the most part. Like,
no.
liberal. No, because they were doing a news story about him, and they're like, he saw when the Republican Party was going weird, and he left it. Like, I don't know that he was or he was a centrist, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he was, oh, go ahead.
Either way, he's instilled a lot of liberal politics for Minnesota, and he caught.
He's a progressive.
He's
a progressive.
And so when it comes, so the Democrats are excited about this pick. Everyone thought it was going to be Shapiro.
Yeah.
Um,
I
and go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, and they think that because the eyes were all on Shapiro this time, no one was really doing any research on Walls. But Midwestern guy, he looks older than he is. It's gonna people are gonna want to listen to him. He's got that fun hokey charm.
Yeah. Are
It
you
was a good
not?
pick. It
You're
was a good
not.
pick for Kamala.
You are. How are you feeling about? How are you feeling about it? You hate all Democrats,
Look,
so
I think that for local politics, I think that Walls is a good pick. We're never going to get a pick that is going to be good for foreign policy. We're never going to have that in this country because we are imperialists and we want to keep our foot on the necks of countries around the world. So all we can do is constantly protest and hold our elected officials accountable for their failures in foreign policy. However, he has been good for Minnesota and he has done things for Minnesota that this country has been asking for
mhm.
decades. And for that, the only thing that we can ask for as a country now from our leaders that, okay, look, if you're going to send billions to genocidal maniacs, if you're going to try to overthrow uh, 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 political leaders around the country,
The
so
world.
that you can get around the world, so you can get your hands on their fucking resources. The
Uh-huh.
least you can do is make the citizens of this country comfortable enough to pacify them again, because people are very aware of their fucking poverty and very aware of their struggles and very aware of like that shit isn't adding up for everyone in this country, and not everyone has the and not
Yeah,
everyone can
and
get a
that is
foot
the
up.
hope. That is the hope
So
of the Democratic Party in this cycle, is that it is being led by two people who have a much more progressive take on the domestic part. I also think on the international part, but it's almost futile to talk about it with people who frame it in a way where there is no hope and it is all bad. So I hope
I
that
mean, I see you that if that's the way you,
that's
I
what
mean, if
you
you're,
said. That's what
well,
you
if you feel
said.
so confident in it and that it's not all bad and so bad, then own it. But here's the thing, there, there's no. Everyone was like, oh God, if Shapiro is picked, he's the full out Zionist. They know,
Mhm.
like, then that means they're doubling down on Israel. What I can see, and here's the thing, we don't have any control over what happens in Gaza anymore.
Mhm.
Netanyahu's gone rogue countless times. We fund him, he doesn't listen. And that is just point blank the truth. So we need to stop acting like we have some stake in that game. We don't do anything, Netanyahu does it all. But here's what I
Mhm.
will say, there are a lot of Arab people in Minnesota. There are
Yeah.
a lot of Palestinian people in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And Walls has been good to the people of Minnesota. So I know that Walls's overall opinions on Israel is they have a right to defend themselves. We defend them no matter what, just like Shapiro was. However, maybe there's more empathy if this country had any control what's going over there in the first place. And the only way we have control over what's going over there and from now on is if we stop funding. Because at
Yeah.
this point, we just keep giving him money. Uh, and he just keeps doing fucked up shit and fucking up other places and killing fucking people. And then when he fucking does it, and then when other sovereign nations want to fucking retaliate, then America comes out and has to be like, no, now we all have to relax. I know that Israel did something wrong, as they always do. They always fucking start it. I know. But now that they did it, now that they kill people, we have to relax. We have to, because, we'll get involved. We'll get involved. It's so
Yeah.
fucking. It's such a.
I,
It's such
I,
a tired, played out storyline that I don't want to talk about it, especially on this show today. So it's like
I mean, we're talking about it.
I think it'll be pretty noticeable. I think it'll be pretty noticeable if the Harris Walls administration um quick the only way it would prove that they were actually in the way of trying to do something good for Gaza and Palestine is if uh they try to fucking pull Israel back in some way. And
I
I don't know
think
what that means,
I
and I
think
don't know if that'll happen.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it's a couple of things. One, I mean, I do think that Netanyahu is putting himself on a course where there is no long-term tenable solution for Israel existing as it does in this way, because there is zero way that everyone in the region will not eventually gang up on Israel, because they are now doing what they can to piss everyone off. And that seems to be Netanyahu's main goal, is to show everyone what a piece of shit and unpredictable piece of shit he is, except that is now becoming the predictable part. And it's also kind of like with Trump too. They're very similar in this way. Like, the idea was like, they're both so crazy that they'll do anything, so don't fuck with them. But it turns out that is a pretty predictable scenario. And when it becomes dangerous to literally everyone around you, people kind of get a little bit fed up with it. One, two, I mean, like, like, it's your one issue. And so if they're not good on the issue and you're not going to vote for them as a result of it, then
that's not my one issue. I mean,
well,
I think that trying to overflow,
it always becomes it becomes about this every time.
I mean, because that's the one that we are openly funding. Like, listen, this is a situation where we are feeding the fucking people that we are bombing. It is a weird situation. We are protecting a country that literally rapes fucking Palestinian soldiers that they.
But this has nothing to do. I mean, it has stuff to do, but it's like.
No. And then they are raped in prison. And then when the IOF finally does something and arrests soldiers like that, the citizens, the settlers, are fucking breaking into these prisons, not to fucking attack these soldiers that were raping fucking prisoners. No, they were trying to fucking break in to release them, because how dare the IOF put their amazing rapist soldiers in prison. They should be allowed to rape whatever they want because they are the chosen people. So, like, spare me. I'm not defending.
Yeah, them. I'm not asking you to defend anything, but I am. It's like,
but we are funding it. We are funding it. We are sending billions. We are sending billions. We are sending billions. And you can just say okay, like okay.
No, I can say okay because it's the only thing that I can get. It's the only thing I can get. It's the only word that I can get in edgewise with this sometimes.
No, please go ahead. Finish what you were saying. That's all I was going to say. That I've made my point. Like,
but what's the point of even then coming back with like the benefits of the Harris and Walls ticket when we already got to the point? No, because it doesn't matter to you.
Because Democrats
none of it matters to you.
What's up?
Nothing matters to you. Only what you hate. Here's an interesting question in this. Like, one thing that I thought was interesting last night was like, Tim Walz, what separates him and what is going to be interesting about this campaign is like, rather than the doom and gloom and the hate of the other side, it is it's taking more of a comic and a scornful, and one, instead of being like, these are dangerous hooligans who are going to bring down democracy, it's being, hold on, it's like weird people, and also it's going to try and do its best to make it more fun and be like, they're joyful warriors against these people. And I think that's really interesting to me, because I think it could be really effective. Also, he made a joke about JD Vance fucking a couch, which is the big meme joke, and like the Democrats would have shied away from that up until this point. And so I'm really interested to see how this goes. Can you like
I believe I said that I think that it's important that the Democrats pacify the American people again. Did I not just say that? I also think that, and I also said that if you're going to spend billions of dollars bombing countries and trying to fucking initiate coups across the world, then you need to take care of us in some way. So because that's all the American people care about. But again, how good it is here. So how am I not saying exactly what you're saying?
What I am hearing is that these are
I'm
bad
still voting for
people
Cornell West.
who are going
I don't know why we
to
keep. I don't.
fuck shit
I've
up
never
around the
changed.
world and will
I'm
only do
voting
what they
for
can to
Cornell
pacify
West,
the
but
American
I'm
people. So
saying
you have
that
no
Harris
hope.
and Walz is good for Democrats. Like, it's good. Do I have hope in what? Do I have hope that perhaps they will make legislation that will make it better for the people of this country again? Hopefully, yeah. But I do not have hope that they are going to stop doing what they're
Yeah.
doing outside of these borders.
I'm just
don't.
kind
And
of
look, and regardless of how
over.
you are, and that's fine. But be fair, I didn't want to get stuck. This is the thing. I have been sitting here being like, Harrison Walls are good for that. You're just mad that I'm not like, oh, I want
Not
to vote
mad.
for him. You're just
No.
upset that I'm like, you're just upset that I'm like, not like fucking right behind it. Ho hum, ho hum. Listen, I have said positive
No.
things about Walls. I've said that I like what he did for Minnesota. I said that I hope he does that for the country. I
But
also
what you
said
then
his foreign
said
policy is not going to be any
immediately
different
after
than
all of
any
that
other imperialistic
was
shit.
bringing
So
it
if you're
back
looking for a candidate that is
to
going to change their foreign policy of this country, it's not going to be him or Kamala. It's not.
I know.
That's it.
I get that. And I think,
that's just that's
again,
just truth. And it's not.
yeah,
And it's
but
not me, and it's not me like not
whatever.
having hope. It's not me not having this. It's not. I mean, it's just not me being like, I say vote Cornell West until he drops out. Well, listen, in our last 5 minutes, we can talk about the dong scene around the world. Because why not? We talked about politics. Now let's go to real dicks.
Was it uncircumcised or circumcised?
That was an uncut cock. I'm just guessing because he's French. So here's the question, because everyone, so a French pole vault gentleman pole vault, and he cleared it. He cleared that shit. He was gonna place. He was gonna medal, but god damn it, his flaccid dick, for the most part. I mean, I don't know that it was hard. I just think that it was fucking.
It's got a big floppy dick.
Yeah, caught the pole, and that means you lose, right? The pole caught the pole.
Many poles.
They were what is it called when they rub their two dicks together in their underwear? What is
frottage?
They were frottaging. Is that what it is? No.
Frottage. I mean, that's one word for it. That's a word that I know about it. What do you? It's over the pants hand jobs.
No. There's frothing or something. No,
frottage. It's the same word. I think
frottage. There's a slang. I think there's a slang term
frottage.
for it.
I think frottage sounds a bit better than frottage.
I don't. Well,
it's when you rub your dicks up against it. You like frottage?
Yeah,
back in the Midwest, we frottaged. We went to parks. No bears. We met no bears because everyone knows if you're frottage with a bear, you're gonna get burned.
You're gonna get a skin rat. You're gonna get heat burn on your.
How dare you? Honestly, I just want to say I love bears. Okay, and I love hair. As someone with body hair, I don't want to hear any of this.
Yeah, you have to. You have to embrace that.
Like now, I have talking about us like we're the anomalies.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I get it. When you have things that are wrong with you, you have to embrace it. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh yes,
that's like
so I made the joke that there are obviously bigger problems to have than losing the Olympics because of your dick, and I got in trouble. I got yelled, kind of snapped at by a friend. And he's like, he was crushed, Tony. He was crushed, and I'm like, well, if he has a sense of humor about it, he's gonna do fine. Like
he was offered like $500,000 to show his dick, so I hope he takes the high road and shows his dick. It makes $500,000.
I mean, look, here's the thing. Like Rihanna should never give another album. He should never show his dick. He should just make them always live through seeing it in that singlet in the Olympics. And he should fucking write a book on how his dick got in the way of his Olympic dreams. I just think that there is a market for him that doesn't need to be sexual. Doesn't need to feed all these fucking fags. Let's be truthful. Who's all fucking chomping?
Seriously, fags were thirsting so hard for this Frenchman's dick. You don't know anything about him. And honestly, his politics might be wrong, so then you'd have to hate him anyway.
Oh
You know,
yeah, he could yeah, like,
he could be one of those
yeah.
yellow vesters.
Who knows? Who knows? So anyway, I just feel like it's like, okay, I get it. I guess I just don't care about the Olympics enough to like respect the work it takes to get there. Because I know it's a lot of work. I mean, I've been watching the Simone Biles, in
Yeah,
the clips. I've been watching her fucking defy what she can do,
gravity.
which allegedly at her age in that field. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I've seen it. I can see that. But also I'm just like, that's kind of funny, and you can use that to your advantage. It doesn't. Okay, so
Your big dick.
you didn't get a medal. You didn't get a medal, but everyone knows that you have a fucking hog, and do that as you will.
Sounds better than a bronze to me. You know,
Yeah,
who wants to be third place when you can be known for having one of the bigger dicks in your entire sport? Also, from a pole vaulting standpoint, he wasn't going to win the gold because there's some other guy, like Swiss American guy, who everyone is calling the Olympic heartthrob, who's breaking all the world records. So you weren't going
yeah,
to get the gold anyway. So just be happy
yeah,
that everyone knows you as the big dick Frenchman who
yeah.
has
Because if you
who's
had
got
cleared it,
who vaults with two poles.
yeah, because if you would
He's
have cleared
vaulting with
it,
two poles.
it would have been, I think they like kind of measure it. So like if you would have cleared it, you still would have not placed because your big old dick was still too close to the pole. Be glad that your big old dick touched the pole.
You
Listen,
know, some people's big old dicks never get to touch the pole
shout out to your big old dick. And
because of
here's
their
the
Christian
thing too.
religion.
I'm super glad that he's attractive too. Because you know what?
They're Olympians. They're all attractive.
You just hate an ugly person with a big dick. Listen, I've seen some unattractive people. Because here's the thing: an ugly person with a big dick feels entitled, and it's like you don't really have all the reason to be. Because here's the thing: I'll say no to a big dick. I can easily say no to a big dick.
Well, we know that about
Because,
you.
quite frankly, who wants to fucking hurt that bad the next day? But it's hard to say no to a pretty face.
But no one ever says no to me.
Oh my God.
Face, big dick,
Jesus Christ.
great attitude,
Well, on that average ending.
joyful,
Casey.
joyful.
Oh, he's so full of hope. Casey,
Full of hope.
tell us where we
Optimism.
can find you
Optimism.
on the social medias. If you have any gigs coming up.
No gigs. I am predisposed for the rest almost of the month. I'll do something in September for sure. But in the meantime, you can follow me on KCWLEY on Casey LEY on Instagram. It's about all she does these days. Barely does that. And but here I am almost each and every week with our favorite curmudgeon herself, Tony Soto.
Oh my God, curmudgeon! How dare you?
You're a curmudgeon.
So
You're a
I'm
curmudgeon.
amazing.
You're a curmudgeon.
Oh my God, I'm such a curmudgeon. I'm so not full of hope. Guys, hopefully you are listening to the Tony Soto Show because that is every week. My guest this week was Pickle. Come out on the 11th of this month, Sunday. If you are in LA, come to Bears in Space. I'll be hosting. The show starts at 6, but I'll probably get there about 5. So come out and hang out with me at Akbar. If you like me on the internet, I am Tony Soto Productions for all the cross-dressing stuff on Instagram, and I am the Tony Soto Show on Instagram and TikTok. So until next week, goodbye. We did it.
Cool.